The universe was left without a phenomenon. Dark energy, which was searched for 20 years, does not exist at all. Such sensational reports came from the Congress of the American Astronomical Society. Not only the famous dark energy was rejected. Much stronger was the statement that the universe does not run up at all with acceleration, as physicists claim. By the way, in 2011, it was for this discovery that an Australian and 2 Americans were awarded the Nobel Prize. And now everything is turned upside down. It is necessary to revise the generally accepted model of the universe. This is the conclusion follows from the work of astronomers from the South Korean Yonsei University and the University of Lyon. Recall that dark energy has a long history. The great Einstein stood at its origins, and supposedly this was the biggest mistake of his life. In 1917, he tried to apply the general theory of relativity, which he had just created, to describe the universe. And suddenly faced with an unsolvable problem. According to centuries-old ideas, the universe was considered eternal and unchanging, in a word, static. But in Einstein's formulas, she suddenly came to life, moved. How can I restore her peace? The scientist introduced a new element into his equations, the so-called cosmological constant. And everything returned to its place. Peace reigned. However, not for long. In 1929, the American astronomer Hubble discovered that the universe is expanding, and Einstein's constant is simply superfluous in it. She left the stage. It seemed like forever. Many years passed, and she suddenly returned almost from non-existence. Everything changed after observing supernovae. Scientists made one of the most sensational discoveries of the 20th century. The universe is accelerating. This phenomenon has been called universal anti-gravity. He changed the picture of the scientific world. Until recently, she seemed so slim. The Big Bang gave birth to the universe with many galaxies. Having received a powerful initial impulse, they scatter, but due to mutual attraction, this happens with a slowdown. And now, it turns out, everything is not at all like that, but exactly the opposite. What drives them? Makes you fly with acceleration, overcome the force of gravity? Today, physicists believe that this is a phenomenon called dark energy, associated with the same Einstein constant. The most amazing thing is that in the first 7 to 8 billion years of its existence, the universe really expanded with a slowdown, and then, for more than 7 billion years, there is an acceleration. And then it will only increase, and indefinitely for a long time. According to scientists, the share of dark energy accounts for about 67% of the total energy of the world, while the so-called dark or invisible matter 30% and the usual visible, all the stars and planets, only 3%. And now, a team of astronomers from the University of Yonsei, together with colleagues from the University of Lyon and Cassis, swung at the picture of the world. After analyzing large databases, scientists said that the conclusion about the expansion of the universe was made by astrophysicists on the basis of a serious measurement error. And, therefore, it is not required to introduce the concept of dark energy. It turns out that science has been looking for a phenomenon for more than 20 years, which in fact does not exist at all. By the way, in this case, Einstein's constant still turns out to be superfluous. Note that this is not the first attack on dark energy. And earlier there were works where its existence was called into question. But the latest study, according to many experts, perhaps looks the most reasoned. Our results show that the Nobel Prize-winning, dark energy hypothesis based on supernova cosmology may be based on an unreliable and downright erroneous assumption, said Young-Wook Lee, who led the study. However, critics of this work point to its weak point: a small database, on the basis of which revolutionary conclusions are drawn. Today, there are several experimental installations in the world that are trying to catch dark energy, but it has never fallen into the nets. However, scientists themselves admit that they are looking almost blindly, because they still do not know exactly what to catch. What is the material carrier of this phenomenon? WIMP particles, which appeared in the formulas of theorists, are considered candidates. But so far the theory has not been confirmed by experiment. The term, dark energy, originated at the end of the 20th century. It is associated with observations of supernovae, which from time to time flash brightly in the sky. These stars are used to determine cosmological distances. In 1998, scientists in the US and Australia almost simultaneously discovered one oddity. The most distant supernovae do not shine as brightly as the formulas prescribed. This means that they are located farther from us than they should be if the universe were expanding in the field of ordinary gravitational forces. Hence the sensational conclusion. With 99% certainty, it can be argued that there must be some additional energy in the universe that opposes gravity. This is how dark energy was born. Nobel is not given just like that, even if some scientists manage to get a breakthrough result. More evidence is needed from other independent groups. For example, when gravitational waves were discovered during the merger of black holes in 2016 and scientists were nominated for the Nobel, they did not receive the prize. Only the next year, when experiments in Italy gave similar results, the prize found its heroes. As for dark energy, this is a difficult area for research. There the game goes on very small values. For example, the signals from supernovae, on the study of which all these theories, assumptions and sensations are based, are very weak. They are difficult to measure. Everything is on the edge. Under such conditions, you can stretch any result. Therefore, one result is always not enough. A sum of convincing independent evidence is needed. And with this, the opponents of dark energy still have problems. But the position of the supporters is much stronger. Over 20 years, a lot of new evidence has been obtained both from reliable observations of supernovae and as a result of a number of other studies, in particular, measurements of the CMB and observations of galaxy clusters. The great hopes of scientists are now connected with the Spectrum X-ray Gamma project, which is supposed to study 100,000 galaxy clusters. As a result, a lot of information will be obtained, which, I think, will finally make it possible to clarify the situation with dark energy. Thank you for your attention, subscribe, comment. I assure you, there are many more interesting things ahead of you.